off. We're going to do an email, invoice coming in from an email, and this is going to be the one. This is the PDF of the email that we received, just so you can kind of validate what it's saying here. So if we go to the verification screen, so this is the list of the invoices that are in the queue for Cindy to process, right? And so I think we're going to do the first one there. So we're going to process this one and just click on the start button, and that starts the read process. So it's going down and reading this electronic invoice that came in, and it's going to start to extract all of that data off of that invoice. And so here's some of the basic information that it just extracted, right? You got the buyer, you got the supplier, we got the total, all the things that we need, the basic information we need to pay that invoice, right? But what's going on in the back end too is it's got that integration with the ERP system that we talked about. And so it's actually verifying that Bill's Contracting Service is a vendor that we have in the system, right? And if that happens, we get a green checkbox, right? We may get an exclamation point that says, wait, hey, I don't recognize this particular vendor. You need to go check that out, right? So we have an opportunity as the first step of verification with a back-end system through KPI that we know that vendor, right? And we're comfortable with that from a validation perspective. So it's got the total 2438. That matches what we've got over here with the 2438 at the total. All right, so that's one level of verification. But then in addition to that, I talked about line item details. So it's actually gone on and gotten the drywall and machine parts, the two different items that we're paying for here. And it's going to make sure to add that up and say, yeah, that validates with the total that's on the invoice here. So it looks like we're pretty comfortable with that. You can also go in and add more information about the invoice. You can put GL codes if it needs to be paid out of a certain department, so you don't have to go back and do a separate journal entry later to journal it over to a certain department. You can enter that in here, right, and do that automatically, right? And then the final piece of validation, you can also add additional documentation, right? So we got here, we're going to add a receipt of goods, right, as a validation that shows, okay, not only did we order this, we actually received it, and we can add that to the document, so as it goes through the process, we know that there's additional validation, right? So again, all of that's being done automatically, things that would have been done manually in that current state that we talked about. So after we feel good about all of that, right, and we maybe add some commentary, we can go ahead and approve it and send it for, not approve it, but validate that we're good to go. And then we've got to get the approval. Right, but as we talked about, that can be an area of delay, somebody waiting to approve it. And so what we also wanted to kind of demonstrate is and you can hold it for something, the mobile application that Cindy's running on her phone that a manager or a director can have, right, and they're going to get automatic notification that, hey, you got some invoices that you need to approve, and you can actually click on that and be able to check that and approve that from your mobile device, right? So taking steps to speed up that approval process that may have been days, sitting on someone's desk, right? And you can even, get a thumbnail and you can click on the invoice if they actually want to read it. But they've got confidence knowing, because of the read-off capability, all of those checks and balances that have already taken place because we built them into that process. And there can be other things that we need to build in, right? Maybe there's certain levels of an invoice that if it's below a certain dollar amount or if it's for a certain utility, we just automatically pay that, right?